Can you see me? Hang on, gotta adjust camera. Okay, now I think we can see me. Hi everyone, welcome back. Nicole here with Edge of Wild Farms. Today I am doing my snapdragon decapitation. Just kidding. I am going to thin out all of my seedlings so that there's only one per cell. They are drinking an obnoxious amount of water at this point, so it's definitely watering them every day. I am noticing some yellowing on the leaves. I have been fertilizing, but there's only so much I can do. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, after Earth Day, so like roughly, I know it's 10 days. Don't ask me how I know, but I know. No, it's 10 days from today is Earth Day. But I'm hoping hopefully that Monday, Tuesday after Earth Day, I'm able to take some time to put these out in the garden. It is before our last frost date, but snapdragons can handle some cool temperatures, so I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that it works. If I was real desperate and wanted to, I probably could have like doubled the amount that I planted, or like thin half these seedlings, pot them up. I'm not going that far. We've got to make it, I'm gonna say roughly 2 weeks to get me to that. But what I am going to do is thin it down to one plant per cell, and I am also going to decapitate them. I normally don't pinch them. Pinch them is the correct word. I normally don't pinch them, but I think I am going to pinch them this year just because they're growing really, really well. I have 2 weeks, so I think they'll put on a lot of side branching at that point. A little bit less foliage to get to that 2 week point, I think will help, honestly, in the long run. So I am going to do that. I'm going to bring you along and just kind of show you as I go through this tray. I have 3.5, 4 trays of snapdragons to do. So I'll show you this one, and then I'm just kind of going to work through them. So I have my handy dandy nail scissors, snips, and what I'm going to do on this close up here. So I am going to pinch above second or third set of leaves, kind of depends as I'm looking at it what I'm thinking. So this is my first set of true leaves. Let's see. Can we see this one? No, let's pick a different one here that we can see. Yeah, we can see this one. Okay, this one right here. So I'm gonna pick above probably my third set of true leaves on this one. So I have these bottom leaves down here. Those are your cotyledons, so the first leaves that came out. And then this is gonna be my first set of true leaves. This is my second set. So these ones don't count. First set, second set. I'm gonna come down to just above the second set, snip, and I've decapitated it. But you can see here on this one what I mean by the yellowing, so just lacking some nutrients. Even though I'm fertilizing, I've considered fertilizing more, but I also don't want to burn them. So, otherwise, let's see, this one here, so this cell here, this one and this one are sharing a home, and I'm going to pick one of the two, and then I'm just going to sacrifice the other one. So I snip this one all the way at the base, so that one is gone, and then I go okay just above the second set, which is right here. Gotta go a little lower. There we go. And then that one. You'll notice a difference when I actually have gone through the whole tray. But that's the goal. That's what we're going for. I'll show you this one as I go, probably sped up, and then I will show you it when I'm all done. Okay, so I have this tray done. Thin them all down so it's just one seed. Now you can see there's a lot more space between them. They are a little floppy looking, and that's because when there's more than one seed in the cell, they kind of hold each other up. They don't let enough air movement in, so there's not enough to move them around and make those strong, super sturdy stems. This should help both sturdy up the stems and make for the nutrient management a little bit better, because there's less that the nutrients have to support when I fertilize once a week. I pinched almost all of them. Some of them that were kind of small or didn't have quite enough set of leaves that I really liked, I left those ones alone. I can either pinch them later, or you don't really have to. Just really helps make a fuller looking plant, or one that branches out a little bit more. So you can see this tray is a lot easier to see between. These ones are still pretty thick, but I think they just have big leaves. Like, in general, they just have some big foliage canopies. So, and that's the lemon snap that are like that. The rose snap and the snowflake are the other two that are in here. And like I will say, this lemon is a Johnny's seed, and then both of the rose and the snowflake that are a little bit weaker of seedlings are Eden Brothers. So I have come to find that I do have, in general, a stronger plant from Johnny Seeds. Kind of why I encourage buying seeds from there. In my own personal experience, I can talk. I promise. Some days. So I mean, just at a side-by-side comparison, those seedlings look a lot stronger than these seedlings. I think it's just a seed. You pay a little bit more, you get a little bit less seed, because, and again, that's why you're paying more, but I think you get a stronger, healthier plant overall. So in the end, I would say it's worth it, but if you're really just looking for max amount of plants, Eden Brothers still has good seed, just the stems aren't quite the same robustness that I see in the Johnny Select seeds. So I'm going to work on the rest of them. I'll show them to you when I have them all done. I'll be honest, it's probably going to take me a couple days, because I do not enjoy thinning them at this size. They're a lot more delicate. I like when they're little and thinning them. I don't like thinning them when they're like this. So I'm going to work on that. snapdragons are all thinned, pinched, all the things. I don't enjoy doing it because it's a much more tedious process, but it's done. Next project that I have to work on, I think it's gonna be a tomorrow thing, is my sweet peas, or not sweet peas, I'm not growing sweet peas, my sweet williams. I think I'm gonna pot up into bigger pots. They are a hardy annual, so I could put them outside. Problem is, they start getting really leggy over like 60 degrees is what I've read, and they're pretty leggy and kind of spindly, and I think it's because the basement just was staying too warm for them. Right now it's been 80 degrees outside, which is not normal and usually not a great thing for us this time of year. Like, it's fun and all, but it doesn't do very good for crops at the end of the day, especially perennial things. But I can't quite put them outside, but I think I'm going to pot them up. Should cool down Monday, so in like 3-4 days. Then I probably will put them outside. The ranunculus have been hanging outside the last 2 days. They also don't do super great in like really hot weather, so I've actually been keeping them more in the shade to try to keep them a little bit cooler. I've half debated bringing them down here because like 82 is a little warmer than I want them, but we'll see. It's supposed to drop back down into the 50s and be normal spring temperature, not midsummer weather, next week. So then they'll be happy outside. I think I'm going to try the Sweet Williams outside. The yarrow, honestly, could probably pot that up and do the same thing with that, or really just start moving the trays out, because both the yarrow from last year and my sea holly from last year have started to show signs of growth. So I definitely would have to harden them off, but I think they'd be all fine outside. The snapdragons, I'm going to give it one more week, because when it does drop off, it's not supposed to dip below freezing, but we're supposed to be like 34, and just where I am in my elevation, the little microclimate we have here, I could totally see us dropping below 32, and I don't want to have to cover all that stuff. I really don't. Like, bringing it in the garage, not a big deal. Trying to cover it with the wind, big deal. So, gonna try to stretch those out another 10-ish days before I get them in the ground, and hope, because they're definitely at the point where they're ready. So I think next year I'm going to need to start them a week later. Last year I probably could have started everything like 2 weeks earlier. This year got too excited, probably could have started a little later. So we'll just kind of keep them as happy as possible, and then we'll put them outside. Thanks for coming along. I hope you learned something about thinning the seedlings, and I'll keep you updated as we continue on with our cut flower growing. Have a good one, everyone.